Hello, my name's Chris Can with Mining Journal. I'm here with Artem Volynets from Chaarat Gold, the Kyrgyzstan and Armenia-focused gold miner. I'd just like to start, Artem, by asking you to give us a brief overview of where the company is at the moment and then maybe how it got to that position.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for having me here. Chaarat is a fast-growing gold company with a focus on countries of the former Soviet Union. Our vision is to build one of the leading gold-producing companies in the sector, in the region. We're actually not only in Kyrgyzstan, we are in two countries, in Armenia and Kyrgyzstan. We have three assets. One producing asset in Armenia called Kapan, that is on track to get to $20 million EBITDA on a run rate basis in the fourth quarter of this year. We acquired that asset from Polymetal in January of this year. We have two assets in the Kyrgyz Republic, one called Tulkubash, that is in construction, first gold in 2021, once in full production in 2022, that will quadruple our EBITDA from $20 to $80 million at today's commodity prices. And the third asset, which is actually the biggest one we have, is called Kızıltaş. That's 5.4 million ounces at close to 4 grams of gold. And that will schedule to produce in about 6 years from now. We have an opportunity from the existing asset base, 10 million ounces of gold, to produce up to 500,000 ounces. Okay. The same amount we plan to get through acquisitions. Okay. But most important thing about Chaarat is that the company been transformed totally over the last 18 months. When I joined the group in March of last year, shares were trading at 20p per share. Okay. We done the last equity raise a few weeks ago at 35p. Over the last 18 months, we totally transformed the business. We brought a new management team. Today, we accumulated 340 years of mining talent, okay. Combined mining experience at the group, 150 years of experience working in the former Soviet Union. We have an independent board, which is unusual for, not very that usual for AIM-listed company, only 2 executives, 5 independent directors. We're well positioned to continue growing as fast as we have. And now we look forward to becoming what we believe is going to be the leading gold company in the former Soviet Union. Okay,
well, let's look at some of the nuts and bolts in there, Artem. You talked about Kapan at the front there. You've bought that. Since buying it, the operating numbers have improved almost immediately. How did you manage that? I assume that's down to some of the experienced people that you've recruited.
That is very true. I mean, that's the reason that our first focus was on hiring the best talent and the best people. So when we do acquisitions, we look at a promising asset in a good geological setting, where we can make operational improvements. Kapan is just like that type of opportunity. We bought the asset from Polymetal for $50 million at the end of January of this year. We have moved in rapidly to eliminate waste, improve the operational efficiencies, improve grade, improve recoveries. And that is already showing the results. As I mentioned, we're on track to get to $20 million EBITDA on a run rate basis in the fourth quarter of this year, which means that we bought an asset for 2.5 times EBITDA. What's important as well, that we see further opportunity from not only increasing the mine life. When we bought an asset, the mine life was 5 years. Today it's 7 years, as per latest update on Kapan that we published a couple of weeks ago. But we also see an opportunity to improve utilization of the mill. From current mine, we can get about 700,000 tons. The mill capacity is about 1 million tons. So we are starting to get third-party ore to get processed through the mill, and we're looking to increase output at the mine itself. Okay. So there is a further improvement opportunities from this asset. But again, it starts with the people. Okay. It is the people that make the difference.
Okay, and then you mentioned Tulkubash as well, adding around about 100,000 ounces per annum, and that's from next year. How confident are you of hitting your timelines and your budgets on delivery of that production?
Tulkubash is the project that we already invested over $30 million into this very project. We published an updated feasibility study in June of this year, which estimated the capex to completion to be $110 million. In September, we completed a joint venture agreement with a Turkish mining contractor called Çiftay, which became our partner in Kyrgyzstan. They bought 12.5% in our Kyrgyz assets, providing additional $31.5 million funding that goes towards completion of Tulkubash project. The rest of the funding is in a process to be raised through project finance. We're confident of completing that funding in the first quarter of next year, which will allow us to move at a full-scale construction as the snow melts in April of next year. We will get to the first gold in 2021, full run rate of close to 100,000 ounces of production 2022. So far, we've been very much on schedule and on budget, and we'll continue to do so.
Okay. And the stated goal is for the group in the nearish term, 400,000 ounces per annum. Can you just go back to the overview you gave us and just give us a little bit more colour around the stages in actually hitting that milestone and when that's going to be?
So Kapan, 65,000 ounces of gold equivalent. Tulkubash, 100,000 ounces, that's 160. Another 250, 300,000 will be from Kuzultash. That is a longer term project. It's a very large ore body, a world-class ore body, I would add. As I mentioned, it's 5.4 million ounces. And we actually stopped drilling a couple of years ago because the ore body extends in various directions. I would not be surprised that we'll find more gold there. The next step for us is to understand the process technology better, and metallurgy. We will do sampling next year at the labs across the world to understand the technologies that we shall use. It's whether going to be the pressure oxidation, bio, or maybe alveolon technology. And that is the next step for us. Then we'll update the feasibility study. There was a feasibility study by the previous management 4 years ago that hired the Chinese company Nerin to do that, which estimated the NPV of Kuzultash project at 300 million at 1250 gold. We are going to update that with our better understanding of the metallurgy and technology to be used, with the aim to get this project into production in 5 to 6 years from now. Okay. Once in production, it will get us probably above 400,000, closer to 500,000 ounces.
Okay. What would you say is the biggest challenge in hitting that milestone for you as a company?
The biggest challenge, I don't think we have big challenges. We have regular challenges like every other mining company. For us, the main challenge at this stage, given the fact that we've transformed the company very quickly over the last 18 months, and our shareholder base have not really catch up with us. Okay. So that's predominantly still retail. We see the institutions are starting to move in, as evidenced by our equity raise, which was designed to allow the major institution to come in. And that is our task, because it will enable us to have more liquid stock and lower our cost of capital.
Okay. You touched on the financings that you've successfully executed recently. People are telling us that the financing environment is very difficult for small and mid-cap companies. What was your experiences in raising that capital, and how did you manage to successfully execute it in line with what you were hoping and your expectations?
Over the last year, a bit more, we raised over $110 million. Most of that was in debt or convertibles. A very limited number of dollars came through the equity raising, primarily because we are very keen to ensure limited dilution to the current shareholders. And that's very simple. It's alignment of interest, because all of us are shareholders. Chaarat is 45% owned by the management and the board. And our prime objective is to increase the share price. We're not paying ourselves cash bonuses, unlike many other competitors in our sector. We're very much focused on share price appreciation. So last 2 equity raises we've done in April of this year, and just a couple of weeks ago, both were done at a premium to the prevailing share price, small but a premium. That is not usual in our sector, but that is our goal, that we'll continue to do value accretive raising as and when we need to.
Artem, thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.